Hey there, Sarah. Great job writing your 9th and 10th essay for your IELTS preparation. Great work. Let's get straight into your task 1 and see what you did. Okay, the bar chart illustrates the number of trips realized by two different waste hauling trucks in July, August, and September 2014. Overall, both haulers show a markedly increase in the number of trips done in August 2014, while in September on the same year there is a sharply decline. Okay, I'm glad that you have written about the main trend here. However, there are a couple little problems with your grammar in a couple of different spots. So, for example, increase is a noun, so you need to use an adjective here, marked increase, not markedly. And the same thing happens here. Decline is a noun, so you need a sharp decline. Okay, check your spelling, and in September of the same year. Okay, so make sure you get the right preposition. During September, there's the spelling mistake again. During September 2014, hauler A did 100 trips, whereas hauler A, careful with your accuracy here, because I think you meant B. Let's check. During September 14th, hauler A did 100 trips, whereas hauler A completed less than 90 trips in total. However, during the month of August, where there is more affluence of people around the sea, hauler A abruptly rose over 140 trips, completing nearly 25 more trips than hauler B with 115. Okay, so, like I said, this was a mistake. You needed to fix this. And this isn't really the correct word here, okay? So you could have really simplified this by saying, however, during the month of August, sea hauler A abruptly rose to over 140 trips, completing nearly 25 more trips than hauler B with 115. Now, why did I take some of this out? First of all, we have no reason to think that there are more people in this area in August. I didn't see anything in the task that said that, so we definitely try not to include any information that we personally supply that's not actually given to us. Also, the word affluence is incorrect here. Okay, so check it out. Check out the definition for it. You'll see that it means something totally different. Okay, and then there was those little grammatical things. There were those little grammatical things that I mentioned. Okay, moving on. In September 2014, during the period of time where less people are in vacation, okay, when less people are on vacation, again, this is something that you're supplying here, so I'd rather you kept out that kind of information having to do with vacation and so forth. It's not given to you, so leave it out. Okay, so in September 2014, during the period of time, I would have, again, left all of that out. So in September 14, hauler B apostrophe S trips plummeted to under 85. Okay, you need to say at what point, to what point the trips plummeted. Similarly, hauler A also declined its amount of trips to 100. You don't decline the number of trips, you decrease the number of trips. There is a markedly increase. There it is again with markedly, so it's again incorrect because you're modifying a noun here. There is a marked increase in the summer months, while once summer is over, you can get rid of this it, there is a tendency on the number of trips to dip. There is a tendency in the number of trips to dip in waste hauling. And again, this is a spelling mistake. Okay, so there's some syntax things, there's some grammatical things, and it's definitely some information that was not given to you, so I would take some of that out, okay? But there were some very nice elements. The structure was very good. You organized your answer correctly. So let's move on to your task 2. Nowadays, most green energy is becoming ever more prevalent in both developed and developing countries. Some argue they greatly reduce costs and are better for the environment. Others believe they are a serious threat to energy security. The development of renewable energy has become one of the largest targets in modern societies during the last decades. The sun's energy, okay? It's just one sun, so we always put the in front of it. The sun's energy, waterfalls, and wind strength, careful spelling, comprise some of the resources available for this purpose. Okay, I like your sentence, but this is not correct. I don't know what you mean by waterfalls. Do you just mean like water energy? Whether the development of green energy provides less pollution or less security has been largely debatable or largely debated. This essay will analyze the advantages and different points of view on this issue, giving examples to support arguments. Okay, not just the advantages, because remember it says here in the task to discuss both views. So I'm hoping that when I read the rest of this essay, you've included the disadvantages as well. Okay, so let's see. Firstly, I clearly believe that green energy has undoubtedly many positive effects. Careful spelling. All over the world, probably it would be better here. It is largely because it is a renewable energy, causing less environmental, with an AL, impact with minor pollutant, singular, emission. The costs have also decreased without this word here, due to the development of efficient energy. It has taken into account that recent study published in 2017 showed that the CO2 emissions had been reduced by 12% among the last year. Okay, I like that you've included an example. However, there are some grammatical mistakes here, Sarah. So the costs have decreased due to the development of efficient energy. And here, for example, you could have just left this out because it doesn't really work in the sentence, and you could have said just simply for example, and that's actually what was included in the acronym. So you could just stick with that and use for example, and then in another place use for instance. So for example, a recent study published in 2017 showed that CO2 emissions had been reduced in the last year. But since it's the last year, it should just be have been reduced. Okay. What were the main causes? The abrupt, remember, if it's a noun, then you need an adjective to describe it. So the abrupt increase in renewable energy used and the imposition of more strict laws. Now this should be stricter laws, and I'm not really convinced this is the right word, the imposition. I think maybe you mean the enforcement, the enactment of stricter laws. Perhaps. This isn't probably the right word here. So therefore it is essential to continue with, not on, the development of green energy to reduce pollution. On the other hand, I disagree with the fact that renewable energy can produce important faults in security. Even being one of the most recent technologies, the safety and security of the infrastructures have been checked by engineers and other experts related to the field. Lovely. It has been known that green energy is 30% safer than traditional energy resources. Lovely. No problems here. In comparison, nuclear factories registered more than 156 severe accidents during the last 2 years. Nevertheless, it has been proved that green energy is also safe. Okay. Very nice. I'm not sure that you really wanted to use the linker nevertheless here. Maybe you wanted something like, in contrast, it has been proved that green energy is safe. Even though you've mentioned that. Or maybe so in conclusion, or therefore, it has been proved that green energy is safe. So that would have been a better linker here. Okay, to conclude from the examples and arguments given, I clearly believe that renewable energy has become one of the most, is needed here. Most essential resources. It provides less environmental impact, reduces costs, increase safety. Okay, so you can't really say that it provides an impact. It has a lower environmental impact, or it makes a lower impact. Reduces, don't forget the S here, cost, and increases, again with an S, safety. In the future, green energy will provide the main electricity production due to all of the advantages it presents in front of traditional resources. Okay, nice. However, I would have changed this expression here in front of traditional resources, and again, just using some sort of expression for contrast, like the advantages it presents compared to traditional resources, or as opposed to traditional resources. Something like this would have been a better choice. Now, I mentioned before when I was reading the introduction that you should probably state that there are advantages and disadvantages. Now that I have read the entire essay, this is fine. So you can just disregard that because there are clearly two views that you're asked to describe. The advantages, so yes, and different points of view. Obviously, you've talked about the second one here, so it's fine. Okay, so there were some things with grammar, your and word choice. Your structure was very nice. There were some problems with linkers. Okay, so it seems like you've come to the end of your essay correction. Now, I don't know when you plan to take your exam, but if I could recommend something, I would definitely suggest continuing getting your essays corrected. It's really absolutely priceless to get feedback and for someone to kind of say, you know, what's good and where there's some errors, so that you continue to improve, so that you can absolutely get the score that you need. Whatever you decide, best of luck, and I hope everything goes well.